You are listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Wednesday the 11th of June, 2025. It is 83 days after the spring equinox. It is 9 days before the summer solstice. By the French Republican calendar, it is the 23rd day of Prairial, the day of the chèvrefeuille, the honeysuckle. The sun rises today at 5:24 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 12:55 p.m. The sun sets today at 8:27 p.m. Civil twilight ends at 9:01 p.m. and nautical twilight ends at 9:43 p.m. The length of daytime today is 36 seconds longer than yesterday. The full moon arrives today at 3:44 a.m. According to the Farmer's Almanac, this is the strawberry full moon. The last quarter will arrive on Wednesday, the 18th of June. These are the predicted tides today for Horn's Hook. In the very early morning, low tide, 4:58 a.m., 9 centimeters. In the late morning, high tide, 11:12 a.m., 1 meter 37. In the late afternoon, low tide, 5:01 p.m., 30 centimeters. At night, high tide, 11:19 p.m., 1 meter 65. In our shared realm of plants and animals, the native prickly pears, Opuntia humifosa, have filled out and are standing tall again, having lost their shriveled winter manner. Now they are beginning to put out new pads. Little whorls form on the edges of last year's pads, and suddenly, boom, a line of large new pads reaching for the sun. Commemorations. According to the calculations of Eratosthenes, on this day in 1184 BCE, the city of Troy was sacked and burned. This is, of course, a matter more of tradition and myth than it is of history. On this day in 1825, the cornerstone was laid for Fort Hamilton in Brooklyn. The designer of the fort, the Frenchman Simon Bernard, took the honors. With its companion, Fort Lafayette, off Staten Island, Fort Hamilton guarded the Verrazano Narrows at the mouth of the harbor. Fort Hamilton remains a base for the Army National Guard and the United States Army Reserve. Its original fort is now referred to as the Casemate Fort on the base. Today is the anniversary of the Hot Dog Summit. On this day in 1939, King George VI of England and Queen Elizabeth took a pause from their royal tour of Canada to visit Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt in Hyde Park, up in the Hudson Valley. The royal couple were served hot dogs, which they had never encountered before. The Queen whispered to Eleanor Roosevelt, "How do you eat this?" Roosevelt is said to have responded, "Very simple. Push it into your mouth and keep pushing until it is all gone." The Queen elected to use a knife and fork, but King George downed his frank like a proper Yank. Coming just months before the outbreak of World War II, the visit also had strategic aims. Canada's Prime Minister, Mackenzie King, briefly joined the leaders in Hyde Park, and President Roosevelt and the King were able to bond before hostilities started. Today we remember Jacques Cousteau, born this day in 1910. The great explorer of the seas helped develop the aqualung, allowing untethered divers to swim freely at great depth. He is most famous for his underwater documentaries, which revealed the wonders of undersea life to a mass audience. He worked tirelessly to preserve the oceans and their life forms from ecological damage. He once said, "The sea, once it casts its spell, holds one in its net of wonder forever." Thank you, Jacques Cousteau. And finally, consider the experience of lobster diver Michael Picard, which he had on this day in 2021. He was diving off Provincetown, Massachusetts, and was about 45 feet below the surface. Suddenly he felt a great push, and everything went dark. He had been swallowed by a humpback whale. He banged on the baleen, and then as quickly as his ordeal began, it was over. The whale surfaced and spat him out. He was virtually unscathed. Now that is an encounter with the sea. And that is the Observatory, Wednesday, the 11th of June, 2025.